I'm Toby Hodges from Yachting World, and I am on board the Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 410. Why? It's a couple of years old now, because this one has a secret weapon, and it's under here. It's a lift keel, and that keel gives you a shoal draft option, reduces draft to 1.3 meters, so you can tuck into the shallow harbours, or it will drop down and give you a proper draft. So by that, more draft than the fixed keel version, so 2.9 meters. So potentially good performance keel for pointing upwind, and gives you the benefit of both. So this is the first one. We're here in Plymouth. This one belongs to Atlantic Yachts and is going to its owner tomorrow. So let's take it for sale and see what it does. Just back from a really nice afternoon evening sail out around Corsan Bay. Didn't do any filming while we were sailing really, because well, you wouldn't have been able to hear much. I just had this camera with me, and yeah, it would have been quite a lot of audio wind noise, so there probably still will be in here. I've been waiting for the wind to go down a bit, so apologies about the sound. However, good chance to take you through the boat and describe what it was like to sail. So if you remember, the 490 and the 440, they started this trend, and the 410 has just sort of refined it really. They were Briand designs, and this is a Mark Lombard. You can see the beam has been carried from max at about 2/3 aft all the way aft, with a hard chine and some reverse shear running there as well. Deep twin rudders set right outboard, and the helms placed right aft to maximise cockpit space. So all the helming has been made easy, is kept in these aft quarters, brought to 2 winches. Nothing really surprising about the setup for sailing now. It's the norm really for production yachts now to bring the winches right aft and the wheels right aft. It maximises this cockpit space here. So one thing you do on this boat is constantly question yourself that it's only 40 foot. It really used every inch of the boat really well. So in terms of sailing, from here that allows you, having the main sheet and the Jeanneau sheet on a winch each side, means from the helm, when you're actively steering, it's easy enough to let off a sheet. You just need to be methodical about which sheets you're going to swap, whether you have the windward sheet on and then the Jeanneau sheet on the other one, vice versa. And also, you know, you can feel a little bit cramped in here, but if you remember the 490 and the 440, one of the beauties of those designs was this ramped side deck, which they've still managed to do on the 410 here. And it's a brilliant feature because it's a safe feature for water. You're not climbing over the coamings. It's an easy walk up the side decks and round these quarters here. But also what I noticed when you're sailing as well is you can sit with your feet out this way looking forward, or straight like that, and it's a really comfortable position to spend a long time at the helm. So even though there isn't that much space in these quarters, it's still pretty comfortable. And the other benefit is when you do want to get a winch handle on here and grind properly, you can stand properly here, you feel secure. There's there's over a foot height there at that bulwark, and you feel secure enough for grinding on there as well. So this is a brand new boat. It's only just been commissioned and gets handed over tomorrow. So that was the first sail we were on. So considering she was straight out the box, all fared commendably well actually. We were sailing upwind at typically just over 7 knots and did quite a lot of reaching around as well, touching over 9 knots, and especially when we pulled the code 0 out as well with some deeper reaching, 9.5 knots, which for this length vessel is really not bad at all. But what I did, the take homes were the form stability. It's never felt pressed at all, lots of power, and with this deep keel and the deep rudders, there was just, I could have left the helm really. It was very, very light, but you can see it's still direct. There's the rudder stock right next to the wheel there. It's only 1 turn lock to lock. Yeah, direct steering, there's plenty of feel, and it's an enjoyable experience. There you can see, if we move forward a bit here, so as well as the cockpit winches, you've got the 2 coach reef winches for managing the halliards and the reef lines. But this is a bridle system they've used midway along the boom, which is fine. It keeps the main sheet out of the cockpit, leads it forward on the boom there, and then back to those 2 aft winches each side, a German system. The downside is you just don't quite get the sheeting angle. So you'll notice here another really nice, smart, lightweight design, using the 3D bridle system for the jib sheets as well. Jeanneau sheets technically is slightly larger than a jib, and that is really inboard for sheeting. So you can pull it right inboard for sailing upwind. But the problem is, because of not having a main sheet traveller, you can trim the jib right in, but you're going to the mainsail is not going to be trimmed in really ever fully enough for upwind sailing. However, that's a minor grumble, because no heavy jib sheet tracks. Really nice system, I like it a lot. Feels safe and secure moving forward on the side deck. Good non-slip over the decks. This one has teak on the cockpit as well. Believe it or not, the bowsprit is an option, I believe, which, if you can see from this angle, it's a proper dreadnought bow. So what you would do about anchoring if you didn't have the bowsprit, I don't know. But with that bowsprit, really nice option for having the code 0 rigged onto it, or an asymmetric further forward where that tack point is, and the anchor system neatly contained within there. And then there's just room below for a shared anchor sail locker, and there was a room for at least 6 fenders in there. Tricky to see from the dock, so hopefully you can from the sailing footage, but you see this voluminous bow shape, which first came in on that 440 and 490, but Mark Lombard, always aggressive with his hull shape. So you can see he's kept the weight right out of the forward end, so that first foot of the forefoot is completely dry, slightly reverse shape on the bow. Then you have the chine off the deck, and then the chine which starts there and runs right the way aft. So you get a sort of slab slide on the freeboard, and then another Mark Lombard feature is the reverse shear as well. So it's an aggressive, modern looking design. I like it. So that's the keel up, keel down button
so
there.
currently it's in its keel up position.
Yeah.
And then we'll put it, when you're ready, give me a shout, we'll put the keel down.
So there's your viewing hole for the keel mechanism there. Bye now. So it's fully up at the moment. electric motor driving the ram, bringing that head of the keel aft, the blade dropping down. There's the ram there. Really nice to be able to see the keel properly. There is a manual backup pump for this as well. But yeah, they could have finished this area a little bit and made a better feature of it, but really nice to have it. So under the chaise long area, that is access to the pump and the handles for doing it manually if you ever had to. I imagine that would take a lot of pumping. I presume that curved thing is to be able to get at that, otherwise it's going to be quite difficult to put a handle in the manual part. I am a self-confessed fan of Jeanneau. I think they do a really good job for a mass production yacht. I think they're designed well, built well, and they use the volumes really well. They sail well as well. Nothing electric, but just dependable. I always enjoyed sailing Jeanneaus in the last decade or so. And yeah, they use the volumes really well. You've probably seen the 409 before, you might well have done, so I will try and keep this tour relatively brief, but let's look at some of the features I really like. For starters, talk about volume. Look at that, a proper chart table, proper nav station, 40-foot yacht. And you get a good sized galley and a variety of layout options, from 2 cabins with 1 head through to 3 cabins with 2 heads. So chart table, yeah, a rarity in this day and age, but right by the companion when you want it. Good sized leather topped working area, really comfortable angled padded seat. This is from those from working from home, work from their boats, it's a good area to work from. Still plenty of electronic space, lift top to it, and in comms with those in the rest of the boat, very easy to get out as well. And then you'll notice as we start to move forward, nice use of rounded edges and fiddles in the joinery. This is a great area, good storage solution, with a cupboard in the aft end and this slide out stowage in the forward end. And they have gone for, Jeanneau and Piéton, the designer, have gone for a sort of more of an apartment feel, I think, in here. Some home from home comforts, but still plenty of amenities and stowage throughout. So double sink below here, bin below, and excellent deep cold stowage there. There's a front opening section to it as well, and then more stowage in this lift top here. That's what I mean, a bit more home from home. It's got a proper cutlery drawer section to it, soft closing drawer. And then look at this, the winning chaise long feature. I love it. You sit on that and you're right in the heart of the boat, in the center. It also extends out to make, well, a kid's berth really. It's not long enough for an adult to sleep on, but yeah, good feature to have. This one with the keel box here means the forward cabin doorway is offset a little, so you don't have that option of filling in this area into double berth. One would think you could have some legs to go in there, so you would have a lower infill for that table, and you could drop that down to make quite a nice large berth if you needed it. But I mean, it's already a 3-cabin boat as such. This extends out here, so the keel box that I'm sitting on becomes a bench seat to fill in that area there, to make it a good size table saloon area for 4 to 6 people. The sole panels lift where you can have access or where there's available access or stowage. French boat, so obviously wine stowage as well. Nice. And if you look in detail, they've made an effort to put some rubber dampeners on here and these nipples on here to stop the movement of the floorboards and stop squeaking. Although there is a lot where you look, you'll see this ply, the end grain of it. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine, to be honest. It would be nice if they just took the time and effort to seal those, because that's throughout the boat you notice that sort of thing. I know it's a volume production yacht, but it would be nice to seal those sealed for longevity. A bit more stowage below the saloon for sole, and then below all three of those bench areas is stowage as well. You saw beneath that earlier, the spyglass to the keel ram. Again, a bit more nice rounded fiddled area there. You want to take these, they're quite clever, all these thick cushions, and I really like this fabric on the bulkhead. I think quite a lot of this is options though. But when you take them away and you can see it's yeah, how they sort of jigsaw the boat together. It's I guess you can't get away from that, but I think it's all been covered up and the overall effect is pretty nice. And then we move into my favourite area, the forward cabin. 40 feet with a huge rectangular berth, no V berth, proper rectangular berth. You can see from this angle, but what they've done there is put an offset bulkhead, sort of fake bulkhead in there forward. So then everything here is an offset angle, which creates this room for a proper ensuite, heads and separate shower area. So heads there with a perspex door to separate it. It's all a wet room, but to separate it from the sink and shower area. And then behind the door here you have a compact wardrobe, but there are deep drawers below this berth, bow thruster battery tank area below as well, but more stowage forward and above as well. And nice attention to details. There's USB sockets, reading lights, mood lighting, indirect lighting, hull windows, overhead hatch, and yeah, just really large, voluminous cabin. Wouldn't mind this at all. And then moving back aft, whether you have the single or double aft cabins, so they're both doubles and they're identical. Also, this heads area is very similar to that forward one. So heads, separate sink and shower area there. Nice size, all works well. Stowage behind the mirrors. Engine area, these lift, but they're not very high to get access into that. Standard is a 40 Yanmar, that is a 45. So this end you've got access to the impeller. Bit dark at the moment to see, but there's plenty of room behind there and big access panels from each of the side cabins. I'll show you. So this is the port aft. Good standing headroom here. I reckon at least 6'3", and look at this large aft facing window. Lots of natural light. That is presuming you've got a tail bag or something, or sheets in the way. Good standing area, and you can see that the cockpit bench doesn't start until back there. So with a low berth, there's plenty of headroom and space here, especially if you compare it with the old Sun Odyssey 409. Plenty of space around here to sit and get changed. Again, another compact wardrobe with some hanging space and locker space there as well. This isn't actually stowage space, that's more to get at electronics and the 230 stuff back there as well for shore power. But there is central stowage as well in that locker and further aft. And then this is the access panel, which I'll pull off now to show you to get into the engine room. So the Sun Odyssey 410 starts at 191,000 euros ex-VAT for base boat. So in English money, by the time it's here, commission, that sort of thing, it's a £250,000 boat. And I know there's plenty of other options in the mass production market at 40 foot, and I know everyone's using space really well and that sort of thing, but I just think this is a refined package as it is. Add in the lift keel and you have a trump that the others don't. You have that ability to have a shoal draft boat, but with a performance keel option essentially. So this owner wants to be able to sail from Falmouth to the Scillies. You need to be able to sail to windward. And then when you're there, you need to get rid of that draft. Well, if you choose the standard draft, shoal draft option of a fixed keel, that would be 1.9 meters, or the standard 2.3 or something. This gives you 3 meters or 1.3, sort of best of both worlds. Yes, you've got a mechanical object below, but it's more like the Pogo keel system. It's in shape and style, using a ram to lift it. It swings up this way. I think it works. I think it's a really good option. And yeah, I think the boat in general, they've done a really nice job with. It's fun to sail. If you get a chance, give it a go. If you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe. See you next time.